In the cold, sterile halls of the hospital, Emily, a young woman battling a mysterious and life-threatening illness, found herself confined to her hospital bed. She spent her days under the watchful eyes of doctors and nurses, but the nights were the loneliest. However, there was one person she could always talk to, a man she encountered late at night when the hospital fell silent. He appeared to her like a shadow, his presence both comforting and unsettling. Every time she spoke with him, Emily felt a strange sensation in the pit of her stomach, a deep unease she couldn't explain. His skin was ashen and pale, and his eyes held a haunting fear, as if he were trapped in a perpetual nightmare. In her dreams, Emily saw the man locked in a dimly lit room, his desperate pleas for help echoing in her mind. She couldn't comprehend the significance of these dreams, but they filled her with a sense of dread and sorrow. One night, as they conversed, Emily ventured into a sensitive topic and asked the man about his family. Instantly, his demeanor shifted, and anger flared in his eyes. He snapped at her, uttering incomprehensible words of pain and resentment before abruptly vanishing into the shadows. Days passed, but the man never returned to her side. Emily grew increasingly distressed, longing for the comfort of his company, even though she sensed something deeply unsettling about him. In her desperation, she approached the nurses and asked for his name. As she inquired about the man, the nurses' faces turned pale, and their eyes widened with horror. They hesitated before revealing the chilling truth. The man she'd been talking to was one of the forgotten corpses that lay in the hospital's freezer for years, unclaimed by any family. His spirit, for reasons unknown, had lingered in the hospital, haunting the living. The revelation sent shivers down Emily's spine, as though she had been doused with icy water. She couldn't comprehend how she had been conversing with a ghost all along. The red straps on her bed, meant for the deceased, now made sense. She was sharing her room with a tormented soul, trapped between the realms of the living and the dead. Fear and confusion enveloped Emily as she tried to make sense of it all. She began to research the man's past, discovering that he had suffered a tragic fate, abandoned and forgotten even in death. His spirit had grown twisted with rage and sorrow, seeking some form of connection with the living world. As Emily delved deeper, she became haunted by the man's presence, seeing him lurking in dark corners and watching her from the shadows. The line between reality and the supernatural blurred, and she could no longer distinguish dreams from waking moments. Haunted by her own mortality and the chilling truth of the man's fate, Emily's health deteriorated further. The doctors struggled to understand the sudden decline, but Emily knew that her days were numbered, entwined with the malevolent spirit that clung to the hospital's darkness. In the final hours of her life, as her breaths grew faint, Emily saw the man one last time. This time, he was no longer angry or fearful, but his eyes held a profound sadness. As she passed from this world to the next, the spirit of the forgotten man disappeared, finally finding the peace he had sought for so long. Emily's tragic story lingered in the hospital's whispers, a haunting reminder of the unseen horrors that lurked within its walls. The nurses and staff could never forget the girl who had crossed paths with the restless dead, and her tale served as a chilling warning to all those who entered the hospital seeking healing, but unknowingly delved into a realm of darkness and despair.